Hello. Hello. Now let us discuss about this poem, Sonnet 73, that time of the year, written by William Shakespeare. Now, first of all, let us see what is a sonnet. A sonnet is a poem of 14 lines with a structured rhyme scheme in which a thought about a subject is developed thoroughly. A sonnet has 14 lines. It is divided into two sections. In one type, the sonnet is divided into two types. The first part of the sonnet consists of 8 lines, that is called the octet, and the second part consists of 6 lines, that is called the septet. So that is for one type of a sonnet. Octet and septet form a sonnet. In another type, a sonnet has 14 lines. 14 lines in which there are 3 stanzas. There are 3 stanzas. Each stanza has 4 lines, and the last 2 lines which makes up the theme of the poem. That is the moral of the poem. It can be also called as the meaning of the poem in short. So in this poem, Sonnet 73, now William Shakespeare has written a number of sonnets, and this is the number 73rd sonnet of the famous bard. Shakespeare, as you know, is called the bard of English language, a great playwright, a dramatist, and a poet. William Shakespeare, through these sonnets, writes about his experiences, about his experience as a person, as a lover, and as a dejected person. Now the sonnet is derived from the Italian word sonetto, meaning a little sound or a little zone. Now this sonnet 73, it focuses on the different stages of a person. It tells about the infantehood, childhood, youthhood, and the old age. And this sonnet 73, it is one of the most famous sonnets composed by him, and it focuses upon the theme of old age. That time of year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs where late the sweetest bird sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed wherein it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to lie thou self, which thou must live ere long. So this poem, it is about a man who is entering the youth of his life, the union of his life. He compares his age with the time of year before winter, when very few leaves hang on the boughs, and the singing birds also have left their trees. He then compares himself to the sunset, which is fading away. The light is fading away, the sun is sinking below the horizon, and the bright light is turning into darkness. And that darkness is compared with death's personification. He says that in him one can see the glowing embers. So as the sun sets below the horizon, the man also imagines himself to be lying on the pyre, and his body is burned upon the pyre, and dark red embers flying above the pyre, and whatever remains is the ashes from the flame of his youth. So his youth has been converted into ashes lying on the pyre, and ultimately the body is lying on the deathbed, consumed by the fire, and which once fed the man. Now it is burning his body into ashes. The poet also tells his love is more determined, causing him to love the poet who will leave this world. So, as the sun sets, as the body departs, as the soul departs from this earth, the friend is more determined to love his friend and 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 longing to wait with him and longing to be with him before he leaves this world. So that time of year thou mayest in thee behold, when yellow leaves are one or few do hang upon those boughs which say shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs where late the sweet bird sang. So the poet, the Shakespeare tells about that part of the year, that is autumn. It is the autumn period when the leaves turn yellowish in color, the leaves and the leaves start falling, the leaves start dripping from the trees, leaving the tree bare and lifeless. And now the flowers and the leaves which were hanging from the boughs have fallen onto the ground, and the boughs have become very, very bare, like a ruined church. The birds used to sit on the trees and sing sweetly, but now even the birds have run away. The birds have flown away to a distant land, because the death has taken away their nestling, their nestlings, and the trees have become bare. The trees have been compared with the aged person. In me thou seest the twilight of such day. So as the person is growing up, he sees he has come at a stage when the sunset has just begun. That is the twilight of his life. The twilight of his life, that means the poet is comparing his growing age to the fading twilight, and after sunset, and as the sun sets in the west, and the brightness of the sun turns into the dark black night, right? Death takes away his soul, just as the sun has set upon the world. In the same manner, death has taken away the person from this world. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire. So there was a time when he was a bright young man, when everyone used to see him as fresh as glowing fire. But now the same fire is devouring his body, turning it to ashes, and the body of the youth is lying on the pyre, burning into eternity. And the deathbed, which where whereon it must expire. So his body is lying on the deathbed, that is the fire, on the pyre, and the pyre is being burned down to the fire and consuming the body, and the ashes are left on the pyre. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong. So as the poet tells, as the person is being burnt, as the body is being burned down into ashes, his friend is longing to see him. His friend's love is growing more and more strong as he is about to leave the earth. To love that well, which thou must live ere long. So in the end, the poet tells, as the love goes stronger and stronger, the determination to love more and more more becomes stronger and and longing for the friend who is about to leave this world. Thank you. That is Time of the Year, written by William Shakespeare.